Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar for the NPSA Community Forum titled How the NPSA Community Forum Can Benefit Your Business. And so I want to welcome everybody here today. And so this is a member-only webinar, and it's designed to help everyone better understand our new community forum, which is hopefully the new location where everybody can go to, share information, share best practices, ask questions, research previous discussions, almost ultimately becoming a library of information. And so we're looking forward to helping everybody get involved with this community forum and educate you on how to best use it so it doesn't become a nuisance as much as it becomes a value to you. So you can see here with me, I have two gentlemen. I have Ben Wright and Keith Brown from the company Today's Local Media. And Today's Local Media, hello guys, how are you, by the way?
Hey, Mark.
Hey, hey.
And so Today's Local Media has been a member of the NPSA for several years now. They are an associate member providing services for companies to help them build a better online presence. And they specifically work with organizations to develop web design and also SEO marketing, as well as a whole plethora of other things. In fact, we've been working closely with them here at the association to help us do some things with our website, as well as build this community forum for us. And ultimately, they're going to help us continue to try and grow this and get people involved, because again, it's only as good as the involvement we get from the members. And so we are going to start moving forward with that. So with that, I think I will, Keith and Ben, I'll hand it over to you guys. Is that right?
Great. Awesome. I'm going
That's right.
to share my screen and pull up just a quick presentation that I want to share with you guys, and then we're going to jump into a live demo of the forum. So you should be looking at my screen right now. As Mark talked about, really what excites us about working with the NPSA is their dedication to advancing the storage industry, and that's really what this community forum is about. He mentioned a little bit about us, but we specialize in technology around websites and SEO. And so when Mark approached us with a unique challenge about building this community forum, we were really excited to jump in. I want to share just a few things that we've seen so far. You may be a member of the forum, you may not, but everyone has been invited at this point. And we're really seeing some interesting things, not only in the community, but in the industry that can benefit your business. So our goal today is to give you an overview of what's possible, how it can benefit you. And then, like I said, we'll jump into some Q&A at the end and a live demo. So the goal here is to give easy access to information, and in the prior solution, as Mark has mentioned before, was based on closed off Google groups, which were kind of difficult to navigate in many ways. And as we look out kind of at the growth of community in general, this is a really interesting statistic that I saw. At this point, more than 80% of people are participating in some community, whether it's a closed group on Facebook or something on LinkedIn. But online communities have continued to grow, and that's why, if you think about just the importance of our industry, the portable storage space, it's more important than ever that we also foster that kind of community. Even though certain folks are competing in local markets, by and large, we're kind of all in this together. We're looking to grow the space, and certainly during COVID, there's been a lot of unique challenges that have made this community more important than ever. So a few kind of examples.
Keith, let me just jump in real quick, and
Yeah,
just
sure.
so everyone is aware, this is a very casual forum. You have the ability to raise your hand if you'd like to speak. Raise your hand if you want to ask a question. We won't necessarily hold questions to the end. If you have a question, raise your hand, and I'll let Keith and Ben know that you have a question. At the end, we're going to open it up to just sort of whatever we want to talk about. If you have problems with it, you can ask those specific problems. If you want to ask, if you want to provide some input as to how you think this might become better, if you've already been using it, we're happy to hear that as well. And then also at the end, I think what I'll try to do is I'll try to open up the microphone so anybody can talk, If that becomes manageable, we'll keep it that way, and we'll go from there. But during the presentation, if you have a question, stop us in our tracks, and we'll try to get to you. You can write in the question as well, so feel free to do that. Go ahead, Keith. I'm sorry.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Mark. Yeah, I really appreciate it. I mean, in the style of community, please, if you have thoughts or questions, let me know. Um, so one thing that I think we've all seen, and I shared this picture not to show everyone yet another picture of kind of the supply chain issues that we've all had. But when we started out to build this community in partnership with the NPSA, we had no idea what was coming, and I think it was really fortuitous timing that we launched this community, and we've been working on this behind the scenes for years. Right at the point when I'd say there's probably more information coming out about the container industry than certainly I've ever seen in my 10 years or so of being around the industry. So I think this type of communication is more important than ever. I'm not sure, when the supply chain is going to clear up, but again, we've seen a lot of those good threads going on the forum, and it's a perfect example of, there's information in the news, but there's information that we all have that I think is really important. So that's one, big trend we're seeing. The other one, and like I said, we work with a lot of clients who have had issues. Even one that I was talking with a client a few days ago, who had an issue where someone was trying to steal their customer base. We've had examples where people are launching scam websites, literally copying your digital presence and trying to get people to pay for containers online. They may steal pictures of your containers, and so again, this is an example where I think regardless of what geography you're in, what you're trying to do, there was already a thread that was posted on, here's a company that had issues with it. And then people are actually providing, shared solutions. So I know if you were to go out and let's say you had issues and you tried to hire an individual to help you with that, it wouldn't be very cheap. But, the community forum is a great place where right now we can all kind of come together and share some of these common threads as well. I know Ben has seen a lot. He's my partner here at today's local media. Ben, maybe you could share some of the stories you're seeing as well, and just how we're interacting the community to help bring some of that information to light.
Yeah, thanks, Keith. I think overall, the more participation in the forum, more people sharing their experience they've had with that it's also going to help. I know Mark put, there was a thread that Mark commented on. He had like 10 bullet points. If you're seeing this scam or this, this is happening to you, here's how you can handle it. So if if you have customers that are being scammed or losing money, sending money to someone, and then there's nothing they can do about it, go on here, tell everyone about it, like everybody respond their experience. And I mean, just for you all to protect yourselves, but also the customers. I mean, there's so much information that no one really knows. And as a consumer buying a container, they don't know. So, we have a lot of clients that are having to put this information on their homepage, like above the fold, or even a pop-up, letting people know about these scams. And the more you can share with everyone, I think maybe, the better off we are at the end.
Yeah, that's a great point, Ben. I mean, I think, ultimately that's why, when we thought about getting started and making this kind of an exclusive benefit to NPSA members, the more information that's out there, the better. And this is there's some really serious issues popping up, around both those things, both supply chain and just the interest of the industry. One of the things that I know we all watch is, we watch economic trends, we watch investing trends. It's been a busy season, but something generally happens when an industry starts to have a light shined on it, so to speak. And it's that challenges, adaptation, the need for innovation doesn't go away. It just becomes more important. And so, if I was looking out at the container industry, I'd say there's probably going to be more interest, more innovation, more challenges, more opportunities in the next 10 years than there were in the prior 10 years, just with how much is being focused on it. I don't know, off the top of my head, I maybe saw one news article, a year talking about this industry before at like a Forbes or a Wall Street Journal, and and we seem to see them every day now. So it's a included benefit for all the members. If you're on the website under resources, you can find it. If you need help, please let us know, ask a question at the end. But everyone should have an invite to the forum. I want to take you through just some of the things that can help you kind of get connected, and then I want to take you over onto the forum. I'll jump out of this presentation and we'll go over to a live demo as well. So get started on there under your preferences section. Make sure you fill out your profile. There's lots of great notification settings and things that I'm going to touch on. One of the things that we built, and it was a lot of hard work to build all this functionality into the community, is really the ability for, as the information grows, as Ben was talking about, as more people collaborate, you can opt into certain types of communication, certain categories of communication. So if you only want to be notified about certain things, it really becomes a smart way for you to keep up to date. And then if you ever want to start something or interact, you can go to the forum as well. It's very easy to get going. So we use the basic level of customization, so anyone can add a thread similar to any other closed group. If you're in a Facebook group, anything like that, you can use the forum. So definitely when new technology gets introduced, I know myself included, there's a little bit of that anxiety or that barrier to, well, I don't want to get on there and try to fumble with something. But the way we created it, you can create topics and make adjustments really, really easily, and a lot of effort and time, went into that as well. A few tips, like as you're thinking about, how can I interact with people the most, and as a business, how can I collaborate? A few tips to think about when posting. Does the title sound interesting, and is it accurate? So I know that Mark works really hard behind the scenes to make sure that people are posting great things. But as an example, from people we've talked to, let's just say it's an issue with someone you're dealing with your website, or let's say it's a supplier inventory issue. Don't go post a thread that has one word like supply. Maybe say something like, we're having supply chain issues in this area, or does anyone know of any inventory, in the Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana area? Doesn't matter where, but just, be descriptive. Who would be interested in this, and why does it matter? I think that, the reason why I was excited to jump on this call today is really from attending the NPSA events. We were at New Mexico, we were at some of the Vegas events. We didn't make it up to the East Coast for the event a few months back, but it's the sense of community. So really, as you're posting, ask, would someone be interested in this, and why does it matter? And part of what we're trying to do early on in the community is really make it a place where the community comes first. People aren't focused on promoting their business or selling things as much as connecting. And of course, if you have a user profile there, you're going to get connected with people and find opportunities that other people who aren't a part of the community may not get. What kind of responses do you want? So be specific. There's an area, as I mentioned before, where you can create your topic here, but there's also a description below. And so as you're filling this out, make sure that you're being very specific on what you need, because there's a lot of great people on the community who are opted into those notifications. So just imagine you were shooting a text message out to a group of, let's say 50 friends. Would you say something, like help, or would you ask them a specific question? So ask those in a specific way, and you'll get a lot more value out of it. Includes commonly used words. So we built a pretty robust search functionality into the forum. And what will be really, really exciting as this grows in the months and years to come is it'll almost be a living, breathing database of knowledge. So you could go at any point at any time and go back to the community, and you can search for things. And so think about that as well. If there's an important word or phrase, or again, a region, we find a lot of people are focused on geographic expansion right now, or really understanding, their region, whether it's the Midwest or the state of California or the East Coast, or they're in, South Carolina, Georgia. So include those things and think about how people are looking. And then finally, select an appropriate category. So I'll show you guys in a little bit, but we also set up the forum to scale, and so we were thinking about it growing long term. So there's lots of different categories that you can post into that make sure that you can get the best responses really quickly. So here's an example of a thread. So this was the one, around container scams, and there's been a lot. This isn't the specific one that I was referencing, but we've seen everything from entire websites being copied, to I'm not kidding, ransoms being offered. You pay a company, or they're going to try to take your customers. I mean, again, this is what happens when you shine a light on a space that maybe isn't used to the spotlight as much. There's going to be a lot of people coming in, trying to start up businesses, take advantage of things. So there was a lot of good stuff on here, but I just wanted to show an example of a thread. You can see information and respond. When you're looking for content, a lot of people don't know this, but at the top of the screen, you can filter out categories, or you can filter out the latest post that an algorithm will surface the most popular ones. So if you like that categories view, go ahead and switch over to that, and you can see the number of topics, categories, everything from trailers to refrigerated storage. We also have a community help center there at the top, so you can go into that, and it has detailed tutorials on how to set up your profile, do notifications, all the things that we're going to be talking about today. So really excited about that. In addition, the notifications are probably the most powerful way that you can stay connected as a business owner. So if you're thinking about how you like to consume information, I don't know about you, but I like to get up in the morning. I like to check the news, what's going on in the world, what's going on in the markets, and so the forum is set up to be a tool for you to use in that way. So you can set email notifications by day, by week, by month, and you can have as much of that information as you can. That's going to be an industry source of what's going on, what people are seeing, the opportunities or the challenges, as I mentioned before. So and then the customization, it'll pop into your inbox, so you can see this is just one more example before we kind of jump over into the demo and really leave a lot of time for feedback. You'll see kind of notifications since your last visit. Here's a post at the top from Benji about 24/7 port operations. And again, I know his business being on the East Coast, he sees a lot of that more than most, and probably has some good insights. I know that anyone who's on a coast, West Coast, East Coast, South, you're going to see that information as well. So maybe you get some leading indicators on what's going on there. And then some interesting use cases. So this was another one posted about interesting use cases. There's swimming pools, offices. I know a big thing during COVID was mobile office spaces. I don't think that trend is going away anytime soon. It's too flexible and convenient. So container customizations, mobile offices, everything there will just continue to grow. So those are just a few kind of examples that I wanted to make sure we cover before we go into the live demo portion of the presentation. A few kind of final notes on the slides. Get involved, build your profile, and then reminder that help center exists anytime you want to jump back in and just share feedback. So the goal is for this to be a value to you, and if you're sharing information or ideas that could help you, maybe it's a category. We've already heard from many of you, hey, you should add a category like this, or what if we could do that? And we're able to make those updates in real time. And so I appreciate everyone's feedback so far. Please continue to keep that going so that we can keep growing the community long term. So I want to shift over to the live demo and just jump right in and pull up the community, and we'll kind of transition to the live demo portion and also some Q&A. So if you have questions or thoughts, about the community or things you've seen or would like to see, post them in the chat there, or raise your hand. And if there's challenges that you're facing or you're seeing that you'd like the community to address, that's the ultimate goal, is being a value to the membership here.
So
yeah,
Keith,
go ahead, Mark.
while you're setting that up, just a couple of quick things I want to point out, or important things that I think are valuable. Number one, when we go through the profile section here, or when Keith shows you that, I would highly recommend that you are as inclusive of as much information as possible, including your photograph. Can't tell you how important that is to fellow members when they're looking for you at an event, maybe. It's nice just to know who you're talking to. You may recognize someone and say, I know that person from the past or whatever. So, and it also makes it more intimate. I think it will build a better community if we're, the more intimate we make it. The other point I want to make is that once you set your profile up and you set up your emails, I've had a lot of people say, "Oh, I can't deal with that. It's, it's very confusing." And I will admit, I'm not a technical guy. When it comes to things on my phone, I have to ask my son to help me. And so when I looked at this for the first time, I was extremely intimidated as well. It's kind of gets you that nervous feeling, but once you start using it and once you get used to it, it's really good. But more importantly, if you set it up the first time and spend some time to set your email functions, which Keith will go over, 99% of it is coming directly to your inbox. It comes to the email that you registered in. And so you can respond from your email as well, just like we did in the Google Groups. People have this impression that, oh, this is a whole new thing and it's not like Google Groups. No, in fact, it's just like Google Groups, because once you set it up, you work from your inbox. The only thing you cannot do is you can't start a new string from your inbox. You have to go to the site and start the chat on the site itself. But again, if it's set up, you save it as a favorite, click on the button, it opens right up. I posted this morning about a video from Gene Marks, who's a regular speaker here in the association, and I shared some information that would be helpful for small businesses and tax tips. It took me literally 2 minutes, and again, I think all of that serves everyone well. The emails, by the way, as Ben showed us in his example, I have it set up to get every single communication that comes in. So I see every email that's written, every response that's made. If that be, and I would recommend, our activity is not that much. I would recommend you might want to go that route. But if it gets busy and you feel like it's a nuisance, you could set it up to come once a day and give you all the information in one email, or you could set it up even to come once a week. And so, Keith, I won't get ahead of myself. You can get into
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. No, I appreciate it. One of the things that I noticed even coming here is, I hadn't visited in a few days here. This red line, I don't know if everyone can see this, but this is since my last visit. And so there's a lot of smart functionality we built in to make it really easy. I don't want to go through this long list. This is a little bit overwhelming, but there's these 3 posts here that are above this line, and this is new content. So as you can see, even in the last couple of days, there's always new stuff rolling in. So I want to take you through it. By the way, if you were at the operators forum and you remember us previewing this at the very end of that, drop me a line at a comment here. We presented this at the operators forum. All we had was a screenshot. We hadn't built anything. So I'm really happy to be back after that and to show this off. Anytime you promise something, you have to deliver on it. So I sit up there and said, we're going to deliver this great forum, and so we're excited to show it off today. To get in, like I said, you can jump into any of these threads really quickly. You can see a lot of information has been posted here so far, which is great. It's a fairly recent thread. You can even set up your profile if you want to add additional information in, almost like an email signature. So it's relatively easy to jump in and reply. You can see the thread in case you want to make sure you're applying to the right thing. But that's all. And so you can get a good view of the threads. I mentioned here are the top ones. If you want to sort by what's the most engaging, you can sort by latest, or as I mentioned, you can jump into categories. So I talked about container modifications, being a really important one. There's all types of things you can do there. And then the new topic button, as Mark mentioned, makes it really easy to just add a new topic in here and it'll go live. You can always, edit your content. So don't worry about, I have to have something perfect. I don't think they allow editing of tweets still, but a lot of people, don't post on Twitter a lot because it's permanent. But that's not the case. If you post content, you can make edits. If you make a comment or you reply to someone else, it's definitely not permanent. You don't have to worry about posting something that you can't edit if you have a typo or something like that later. This is fairly self-explanatory, but what I wanted to go into, the most important thing is the preferences. So you get to it, here in the upper right by clicking on your profile image. If you don't have an image, you can just click this button. But really in preferences is where you're going to get the most value. So make sure that you have your username set up. Use first name, last name. Again, try to be professional with it. I wouldn't say use an avatar, a made up word. Try to use something that people can identify you as, because again, we're trying to build authentic and genuine community here. So you have the ability to add things into your profile. You can add a header with branding. Anything you want to do, your website, your time zone, so people know where you're at. And then you can set these settings. Mark talked about this. You can have everything from every 30 minutes, hourly, daily. I do a weekly digest because I get a lot of information each day, and I like things to be wrapped up for me in kind of a summary. And then when I have a one-off, I go right to the forum. But a lot of you, I know from talking to you, do daily summaries. Hourly every 30 minutes, that might get a little bit noisy. But again, some people are like that. They need that kind of instant notification. They check it quickly and they move on. So you have that. And then I always keep this box checked. So here's a kind of a pro tip. It says, when I don't visit here, send me an email summary of popular topics. So this will actually keep track of things you viewed on the site, and it will send you an update on the content that's brand new to you, just to save you a lot more time and energy. And then you can send email notifications when people reply to you. So if someone mentions you on the website as well. You have also additional benefits of notifications, and this is all just about making sure you get only the information that you know how to use. And then security, just make sure that your account and everything is set up on par with your standards and what you like to do. Once you're there, you're free to navigate. And as I talked about earlier, let's say that you were looking at some of the stuff we talked about earlier with container scams and things like that, and you just want to drop in. There's a pretty easy way to search the site here in the upper right. You find something you like, and here's another post. And again, I'm really not trying to scare anyone with this. This is a very real threat in our industry right now. And Mark can correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like once a week I hear about a different company. And so again, there are definitely ways you can defend yourself, and you need to understand that if you do see a website or something pop up, what the steps you need to follow to make sure you report them, get that website pulled down, and everything else. I don't want to turn this into a conversation about that, but I think it's a really great example of the type of value that a forum can have even before you realize it. So yeah, Mark, what are some of the other things that you think would be valuable to touch on?
So I think, Keith, if you go to first, why don't you show the people or the members on the call here, those 3 lines on the top next to your profile picture?
Mm-hmm.
That's also an alternative way to
Yep.
click on the latest ones, or what I like to do
Yep.
is I click on categories.
Yep.
So I mean, there's different ways to get to the same place.
Right.
But you can also set notification on categories as well, which I think I've done, and correct me if I'm wrong. So click on the 3 lines there on the top right,
Yeah.
and then click on categories. It should list all the categories.
Right.
And if you scroll down, you'll see the list of different categories. It's important that when you're posting, you post in the correct category. And we may expand this to add more categories at some point, but since it's young and we're new, we wanted to kind of help people navigate. But if you go back there, click on the Community Help Center category. So if you're not receiving information on this category, there'll be a line on the top. I don't see it here, so you're probably engaged in this already. But for any category that you click on, if you want to see the emails going in and out of that category, you can do it directly from the category itself rather than the settings.
Right. Yep. Yeah,
So
there's an
in
easy way
this
to do
one, you
that.
must be already assigned to it. But
Yep, I've opted into all of them.
you've opted into all, okay.
Yeah.
And I would say early on, you might want to do that just to kind of, and then sort of wean yourself back if you get too many emails. but I'm involved in every category, and right now we're getting a few postings a week, so it's not overwhelming. And it's just nice to see what's going through. Excuse me.
Awesome. Great. Well, I know we've been through the live demo. We've gone through a few things. I wanted to leave, plenty of time for questions at the end, or even just some organic discussion. So I'd love to hear from anyone, on the call, or maybe Ben, if you have anything else, to add. How has your experience been in the forum so far?
Can you hear me?
We lost Keith for a minute. Keith, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Sorry
Yeah,
about that.
we got muted, I think.
Sorry, that may have been me. I was. If you guys, if anybody wants to speak, you can ask questions by raising your hand, or I can just regurgitate the questions that you put in on the posting. While we're waiting, I don't have any questions yet, but while we're waiting, Keith, do you want to show everybody where, what was I thinking?
From the website, maybe,
No,
how to get there?
I wanted to show everybody where they go to the help, to the community help center,
Mm-hmm.
and show them where you've created some basic messages that can walk them through various aspects of setting up their profile, getting started, and so forth.
Sure. Yeah, thanks, Mark. So, if you're like me, you attend these webinars, you listen, you maybe remember a few stories, or maybe the picture of all the container ships off the coast of LA. But coming back here, that's why we built these. So again, if you wanted to learn more afterwards, just go to the community, and you can jump in here, and there's everything we just talked about is recapped with detailed instructions on how to set up your profile. There's a pretty detailed one on adjusting notifications on all the different sections. This is, I think, what Mark was referencing earlier. Mark, were you talking about these categories? So, what categories you're watching, what categories you're tracking. So if there are things that are more important to you than others in your business, this is an easy way to filter it out and make sure you're cutting through that noise. I think this is what you were talking about, Mark,
Yeah,
correct?
exactly. And so my
Yep.
point was, you can do it directly at the category itself, or you could do it in here.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
And the for a perfect example might be, you don't want to be a part of the modification section if your business is not doing any modifications, or you have no interest in modifications.
Yep. Yeah, that's a great.
And I'll also, we talked about creating a vendor section where you can, and by the way, I should tell everybody, associate members are not in this forum at the moment. We're trying to figure out how we can incorporate them, but limit them. We don't want them getting involved and marketing themselves within your personal conversations. So for example, if someone's asking, does anybody have an experience with this truck? Or does anyone have a recommendation for a particular truck? We don't want to have vendors kind of jumping in and trying to sell themselves, because then that becomes, it doesn't become a true assistance, right? Because obviously they're going to be biased in their comments. So, but we are thinking about having them come in and be a part of some of the categories, and so you'll hear more on that. But at the moment, it's just regular members, and you can, we've had people come in here and say, hey, does anybody have experience with this particular company? We ask that you be, you be careful on how you talk about fellow members, especially. If your experiences have not been good, we want you to be clear, but also, you don't have to be nasty about certain things or whatever. So do that in a very professional way. So we have a couple of questions here real quick. Angie Payne, hello, Angie. She's asking if you can quickly just go over, Keith, again, how to get to that profile, that personal information section.
Yeah.
And she wants to see where you exactly, and I know we did this, but just go over again where you go to set yourself up to see every message, no matter what category it's being posted in.
Yeah, great question. So again, in the upper right here, if you can see my mouse, I have a profile picture, but if you don't, it'll be the same link. It'll just be a blank photo, but you'll just click on that here, and there are these 4 tabs here that have different notifications, but you go to this far right, looks like a person. And so I was looking at the preferences menu. So you're just in the upper right here under your personal settings. You can see an activity of what's going on. You know, you can do drafts, but it's this preferences menu that has this gear. So that's where you want to go, is your preferences. And then right here, you're kind of in your home, your account home, and that has everything you need. The profile pictures right here, you know, you just click edit. The system, like I said, will assign you one, or you can upload your own. Make sure your email is set, your picture, and everything else. And then you can navigate right here on this left-hand side to notifications. And so if you just make sure that you have everything set up, so by default, you're going to get all the notifications. It's just going to be the date range. So by default, you're going to get everything created in the last few days. You'll get notified when posts are like, and then you can allow others to send you messages or not. So by default, you'll get opted into all these summaries. The difference is if you want to go in and you want to exclude things or particularly mute things, that's when you're going to have additional controls. But you'll get those notifications all by default. And like I said, that personal settings here is where you set up all that stuff. So yeah, great question. And I think that's actually one that's covered again in the help center. And so if there are questions that you have that aren't, we could create more of these based on it, but that's in the profile settings here. So yeah, thanks, Mark.
Savannah Sawyer, I've unmuted you. I'm trying to, the question you're asking, I'm not clear on. So if you can unmute yourself, maybe just ask that question to Keith. You'd have to unmute your microphone if you can. Otherwise, try to, maybe if you can re-articulate it in writing, and I'll try to ask that question. I'm a little bit unclear on what you're asking me. And so, oh, she said, okay, here, she said, I think he just answered it. Okay, great. So I think that's good. So the best way, Keith, right? The best way to start to get used to this is to post something, right? Post something that you think is worthy of sharing. I did something very simple this morning. I put a post out there. You know, I put it under the general business because it's not specific to portable storage or portable storage and moving. It's more of a small business. And so I threw it out there. If people like it, great. If they don't have use for it, they can delete it or ignore it.
Right.
But again, when you make those posts, and this will be a great way to test also your email boxes, make sure you're getting information in your email box. Again, don't be afraid to respond directly from your email box, because when you do respond, it'll post here automatically. And when you come back here later, you'll see that in the forum as well.
Right. Yeah.
I could add a little bit there too. You know, I would say, you know, at the end of this, you know, if anything, go create your profile, set it up, and you know, we're all trying to work. Like the year is almost over, kind of crazy. We're planning for next year, but there's so many people that still have certain roadblocks. You know, things that you're thinking about. I guarantee someone else is also having the same thought. So just go in and ask those questions. I guarantee someone will reply and someone will try to give some, you know, insight into it.
Yep. And you can see just how easy it was. I went in and I liked this comment I shared. The other thing I want to point out is if you post something, and this is kind of common knowledge in community building, but not everyone might know it. You might find it interesting that in general, 10 people view something for every one person that replies. Sometimes those numbers are closer to 500 to 1. So you can see 5 people have viewed this. So Mark might have been feeling a little bit lonely that no one had replied yet, but he just posted it, and there's already been a few people engaged. So you know, at the end of the day, if you post something like Ben said of value, it's going to be helping the community out, and that's what this is all about. So yeah, great point, Ben.
Yeah, and listen, on that same note, I noticed that you know, I get worried when I see people who are involved and then they don't get much feedback. And Savannah, I noticed that you asked a question about dashboard cams on trucks. I'm certain there's people on this call that could provide some input on that. And so I would say, hey, there's nobody responded to Savannah yet, and this was posted well, a day or two ago.
Yesterday, yeah.
Yeah, and so use that if you have any information at all. just jump on there and try to help Savannah out, and at the same time you can test the use of it and gain some experience in doing that.
Yeah, it's great. I've seen Savannah post a few things so far. So if you're on, thank you, Savannah, for your participation. That's great.
And the association, we're trying. I've asked the staff members to always try to be posting stuff. I'm usually making at least 1 or 2 posts. So is Kaylee and Joel a week, and so we're trying to add value along the way. And hopefully you find that. If you do find it interesting or helpful, say so. Just jump on and say, hey, thanks. This was great information. Again, to practice.
It's great. Any other questions, Mark?
I'm not seeing any. Oh, wait, here we go. We do have one. How can we add our employees? Okay, so I can answer that, Keith. Every single employee of any member company to the NPSA is entitled to participate in this, or I should say regular member. So so this is Angie. Angie, you are welcome to have every one of your employees be part of this forum. And the way you go about doing it, every profile is unique to the email address. So all they have to do is send an email to info@npsa.org and ask for an invitation. They should have I think we sent invitations to everybody in our database, but maybe there are some people who you find, or you might think can find this valuable, but are not necessarily an active member in the events and other things that the association does. Have them send an email to info@npsa and say, hey, I work for this organization. Can you send me an invite to get into the forum? As long as they have a unique email, they can get on, set up a profile, and start to get involved. Did I say that right, Keith?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's great. It's a great point. I mean, again, if you have a larger organization, you have people that, almost like you want to keep in touch with trends or even education. There's this whole idea of, you've heard the term asynchronous work, like we've all been distributed. Some people are coming back. Some people have offices. Some people have been working from home. But there's no better answer to training or onboarding a new person, I would say, than giving them obviously your own resources. But like, I wouldn't hire a new person and not say, hey, go spend an hour or 2 on this forum. They're not going to learn, if you're hiring new people around the office, salespeople, whatever, better than reading real people's real challenges and how they talk about it. So yeah, love the idea of getting more people from your organization involved. Great question.
All right. I don't see any other questions. I don't see any other hands raised. Unless somebody pops in here in the next couple seconds, I think we are good to go. Like anything else, the only way that you're really going to learn about all this is to start using it. So, and try to make it a habit to get into it once a week. Stay familiar with it, and I think it's so important for the association we get everyone involved, because the more people that we get involved, the more insightful information we can get on responses, like dash cams, right? If we've only got 50 people active on the site, information on dash cams is only 50 people big, as opposed to we sent out close to 1,700 invitations. If we had all 1,700 people on here, I'm sure that we'd have a tremendous amount of valuable information. One big brain is better than a whole bunch of independent little ones. So I think we're good here, guys. I want to thank both Keith and Ben. You guys have been awesome, not just for the members of our association and what you do, but also what you've been doing for us. And by the way, I'll tell everybody that they have been extremely helpful to the association in helping us grow. And they have done it really as a free service to the association for most of what they've done for us. And this entire community has been done, really without being charged. The association is really getting their services, and we really appreciate that. And so if you have an opportunity, you need any help with their services, they're a great member to the association. They'll be at the conference and trade show in Denver, which we're really excited about. Another question just came in here, guys. And John McCarthy, he is going to try to be more active in the site in the future. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Go, John.
All right, guys.
Awesome. Thank you so
Do
much,
you have
Mark.
anything else you want to add?
No, just appreciate it, like
thanks,
I said.
Mark.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much. And we look forward to talking to you. If you have any questions after this, you always have our number, and you can communicate directly with the staff for any questions you might have. We're happy to help.
Have a great day.
All
Bye,
right,
everyone.
take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.